Good morning students. Today we'll start with another topic which discusses about instability of emulsions. So in the previous topic we have discussed about theories of emulsions. Okay, in that we have seen the various theories of emulsions. So that is also a very important question. And there is a small topic left over in theory of emulsion, that is your electrostatic repulsion. I want you to go through it from book Lachman, and in case of any doubts you can ask me or we can discuss that in interactive session. But this is your homework for you, that you have to refer the electrostatic repulsion for the theory of repulsion. So the previously we have discussed which kind of emulsifying agents form which kind of film. So we have seen the three basic mechanisms in which emulsifying agents assist in the formation of emulsion. So there were a reduction of interfacial tension, then interfacial film formation, then electrical repulsion. So electrical repulsion is nothing but there is an electrical barrier which is formed, so that will prevent the particles to come together. So the particles will remain as discrete entities. So that only we want, and that will happen by through electrical repulsion. So in electrical repulsion, it is nothing but to an emulsion when you are adding a surfactant or a soap, on each particle there will be positive and negative charges formed. For example, if this is a particle, you will have both positive and negative charges surrounding that. Okay, so due to that there will be a electrical repulsion which will maintain the individual integrity of particles. So I want you to go through that from Lachman, and in case of any doubts you can let me know. Okay, so we'll start with instability of emulsion. This is also very important questions, and the reference for this is Atmaram Power. It is not there in Lachman. So please refer carefully, and you have to prepare the notes from the video itself. Instability of emulsions. The name itself indicates what are the reasons for instability of emulsions, or when an emulsion is unstable, what happens, in what form it results. So basically the instability of emulsions is of three types: cracking, creaming, phase inversion. Thus this you might have studied even in your first year pharmaceutics. So now we have to discuss again in detail what are the factors responsible for each of these instabilities. First, coming to a cracking, it is also known as coalescence. Then coming to the definition of cracking. Cracking is nothing but coalescence means it is an aggregation. So when two or more globules of internal phase, internal nothing but a discontinuous phase or a dispersed phase, when two or more globules of your internal phase approach each other, they may undergo coalescence and they separate out as a distinct layer, which is known as cracking or coalescence. I repeat the definition. When two or more globules of internal phase approach each other, they may undergo coalescence and separate out as a distinct layer. So this is a cracking. Then when we'll see what are the various factors which are affecting cracking. Here interfacial tension, interfacial film formation, electrostatic forces, then microbial degradation, excess of dispersed phase, physicochemical interaction. So now we'll discuss in detail about each. Coming to the interfacial tension. Okay, dispersion of immiscible liquids. I have told you, whenever you are mixing two liquids, you are dispersing two liquids such as oil and water, they are quite immiscible. So that dispersion will make your system more energetic. Why? Because that will have an increase in surface free energy, right? So dispersion of immersible liquids makes the system more energetic due to increase in surface free energy, which is delta G. So that is given by the equation delta G is equal to gamma delta A, where gamma is equal to interfacial tension and delta A is the increase in the total surface area. Okay, so whenever you are dispersing two liquids which are immersible, your system is more energetic because of increase in surface free energy. Okay, so that is known as unstable emulsion. You remember we have discussed it in the definition also. Such thermodynamically unstable emulsions, they tend to aggregate, right? So because they are dispersing, they are not miscible with each other, they tend to aggregate. That is a normal tendency of an unstable system. Such thermodynamically unstable emulsions, they tend to aggregate. Why they tend to aggregate? To decrease the total energy. Right, in order to decrease the energy of the system, here two phases, the particles of these two phases, they tend to aggregate, but it makes the emulsion physically unstable. This aggregation is making your emulsion unstable. So I have told you how you can make it stable by lowering the interfacial tension. So do you remember the three mechanisms in which emulsifying agents help in the formation of emulsion? By reduction of interfacial tension, interfacial film formation, and electrical repulsion. So same, you have to apply the concept here. Lowering the interfacial energy can lower the increased energy of the system. So when you are lowering the interfacial energy, it is in turn lowering the increased energy, that is delta G of the system, and in turn lowering, okay, and in turn it is lowering the rate of coalescence. So whenever you are lowering the interfacial energy, the lowering of interfacial energy can lower the increased energy delta G, and it can lower the rate of coalescence. So whenever the coalescence rate is decreasing, that means the particles are not approaching each other, the particles are not coagulating. So when they are not coming together, they are not aggregating, so there is no point of cracking, right? So surface active agents are nothing but emulsifying agents. So this work is done by a surface active agents. Surface active agents reduce your interfacial tension. So when your surface active agents reduce interfacial tension, there will be no increased energy in the system, and then your unstable system can become quite stable. Right, next discussing about interfacial film. Droplets come closer by shaking or vibration, or which allows the content of droplets to combine to form large droplets. So this also we have seen interfacial film formation. It acts as a mechanical barrier to coalescence. We have discussed it in a theory of emulsion. So droplets, whenever you shake or vibrate, they come closer to form large droplets. The flexible interfacial film, if you form this flexible interfacial film, it is formed. See, if there is no interfacial film, these two particles, they can come and form a larger particle. But if there is an interfacial film between these two cannot come together, right? So this work is also done by an emulsifier or emulsifying agent, as we have discussed earlier. So the flexible interfacial film of sufficient mechanical strength, which is formed by an emulsifying agent or an emulsifier, it can minimize the coalescence. So when it is minimizing the coalescence, then your unstable system can remain stable. So there is no chance of cracking. Interfacial film, so whenever you shake the emulsion or you vibrate it, the droplets come closer and they form large droplets. But whenever there is an interfacial film formed between these two droplets, which is formed by an emulsifier, a coalescence can be minimized. Right, next coming to electrostatic forces. A system with higher interdroplet electrostatic repulsion does not allow dispersed globules to coalesce. And okay, nothing but electrostatic forces. So whenever there is repulsion, the globules will not coalesce, and this repulsion will result in stable emulsion. Simple. So a system with higher interdroplet electrostatic repulsion, that means there is a repulsion between two particles. Between the particles of phases, there is a repulsion. Inter means between, right? Intra means within, inter means between particles. So whenever there is a system in which there is higher interdroplet electrostatic repulsion, that system will not allow the dispersed globules to come together, right? It will not allow these dispersed globules to coalesce, and this repulsion between these particles, it results in stable emulsion. So how you can maintain electrostatic forces? Do you remember in suspensions I have told you zeta potential? So whenever you are adding electrolytes, that is lowering the zeta potential. You have seen electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and right that. So here also electrostatic forces, they can be adjusted by the addition of electrolytes in optimum concentration. So when you are adding electrolytes in optimum concentration, there is electrostatic repulsion, right? So when the repulsion is there is no chance that these particles will come together. So it's in a way we have discussed the same in zeta potential. So a system with higher interdroplet electrostatic repulsion does not allow the dispersed globules to coalesce, and this repulsion between droplets, this is resulting in a stable emulsion. Then electrostatic forces can be adjusted by the addition of electrolytes in optimum concentration. So whenever you add electrolytes in optimum concentration, they will help in maintain electrostatic forces to an optimum level, which in turn will cause repulsion between particles and thus results in stable emulsion. Then coming to microbial degradation, molds, yeast, bacteria, they can bring about decomposition of an emulsifying agent, producing a weak interfacial film. Okay, so weak interfacial film is must. Interfacial film is responsible for minimizing the attraction between two particles. So whenever in your emulsion, if you are having, or if the emulsion gets contaminated by your molds, yeast or bacteria, then what will do, they'll bring about a decomposition of emulsifying agent. So when your emulsifying agent is decomposed, it will not work properly. So one of the function of emulsifying agent is to form an interfacial film between the two particles. So when your emulsifying agent is decomposed, how it can form an interfacial film which is having proper mechanical strength, right? It cannot produce. So that emulsifying agent will produce a weak interfacial film. So whenever there is a weak interfacial film, then the chances of attraction between the particles get increased, and when the chances of attraction get increased, they will coalesce, and in turn it lead to cracking of emulsion. So this can be avoided by addition of preservatives. So whenever you are adding preservatives, these preservatives, they will prevent the growth of these molds, yeast and bacteria, and in turn your emulsifying agent will be retained as it is, and thus you will have a strong interfacial film, right? So just addition of preservatives will make your unstable system as stable. Next, excess of dispersed phase. Excess of dispersed phase is nothing but dispersed phase, dispersion medium. Dispersed phase is which is your internal phase, right, which is less. And your dispersion medium, for example, oil in water. Oil is a dispersed phase, water is a dispersion medium. So whenever you are having excess of dispersed phase, that means the droplets are more. When the droplets are more, obviously the chances of collision will be more. Simple, right? In your class, if you see, the strength is less. If the strength is less, the chances of collision are also less. But if strength is more, then the chances of collision gets increased. Similarly, the chances of collision of droplets, they are more in concentrated emulsions, right? If you compare the concentrated emulsions with the dilute emulsions, dilute means what? Liquid is more, your particles are less. Whereas if you are having excess of dispersed phase, the chances of collision of droplets get increased and more in concentrated emulsions, which in turn increases the probability of coalescence, right? Next, coming to a last factor, physicochemical interaction. Then with this we'll finish the cracking, and the leftover part will be creaming and phase inversion. Once we have done this, we'll start with the formulation part and then evaluation, and then emulsions will also be done for you. And then last part in this unit is solutions. Okay, with this we'll finish 4 units. Coming to physicochemical interaction, the emulsion containing incompatible ingredients could lead to cracking of an emulsion. So whenever your emulsion is containing incompatible ingredients, it can lead to cracking of emulsion. So what are the various examples in which the emulsion has incompatible ingredients? For example, alkali soap emulsifying agents, right? If you are using an emulsifying agent which is having alkaline pH, and if the solution pH is acidic, then these emulsifying agents tend to decompose. Sorry. Alkali soap emulsifying agents, they tend to decompose in acidic pH. Next, combination of cationic and anionic emulsifying agent will produce a cracked emulsion due to neutralization. So if you are combining cationic and anionic emulsifying agent together in one emulsion system, that will produce a cracked emulsion due to neutralization. Due to neutralization of these charges, the emulsifying agent will not be able to function properly. So then there will be chances of cracking of emulsion. Then hydrophilic emulsifiers such as acacia, tragacanth and gelatin precipitate by addition of organic solvent like alcohol. So if you are using hydrophilic emulsifying agents, your natural gums such as acacia, tragacanth and gelatin, and if you are adding an organic solvent like alcohol, these emulsifying agent will get precipitated. Okay, so when your emulsifying agent is precipitated, then it cannot function properly, it cannot work properly. So then obviously there will be chances of cracking. Next, dispersed phase and dispersion medium dissolve in common solvent to form monophasic system. If your dispersed phase and dispersion medium, that is oil and water, dissolve in common solvent to form monophasic system, for example soap liniment, that means here water concentration will be very less. Okay, and one phase will predominate, so they will dissolve in common solvent. In that case, you will get a monophasic system. If you see soap liniment, you have the ingredients. Please check out the ingredients for soap liniment. This you have done even in your first year. I want all of you to refer how soap liniment is formed, what are the ingredients or what is the formulation. So in then you can understand when in soap liniment how they'll form a monophasic system. The next example, addition of polyvalent soaps or use of hot water to prepare emulsion containing monovalent soap as emulsifying agent. For example, if your emulsion already contains the monovalent soap as an emulsifying agent, and if you are adding a polyvalent soap to that emulsion, okay, as another emulsifying agent, then there are chances that that emulsion can crack or coalesce. Okay, so these are all the factors which are affecting your cracking. So reference for this is Atmaram Pawar. Okay, please go through the video and make notes. In case of any doubts, you can ask me anytime. In the next class, we'll discuss about creaming and phase inversion. And if you want the video, like if you want the photograph of the video, you please let me know. I can even send you the photograph of the video. But please make notes by referring the video. Thank you.